Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And welcome to this very, very hot Boston garden. Today we're talking about the season finale and hopefully not series finale of HBO's winning time. We're talking about it, 1984 finals. And we're quite sad today because as you guys know, the Lakers lost. But luckily, people joining me today, whenever they feel this bad, they like to get out on some white boys. It's Ebuka and Christopher. How are you guys doing?
Oh my
Good
god.
man.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
I didn't know we're gonna have singing Ebuka 1 minute
I,
into this
I
episode.
feel really sad. I can't believe that just happened.
It was
I
it's
feel
it's quite a sad
yeah.
ending. We're gonna get into all of that because I think most of us did it. Either we didn't know what was going to happen or how it was going to happen. But before all of that, quick admin, guys, please. All three episodes of our Top Boy coverage is now out on the podcast. Ibuka was on two of those three episodes. Sorry, are now out on the podcast. Please check those out. I don't watch Top Boy, but I'm hopeful that they enjoyed it. Ibuka, did you enjoy this season or the episodes you saw?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
good.
far, the season
That's
has been amazing.
Okay, that's good. So please check this out. Please, as always, rate, review, like, subscribe, share with people that watch the shows. Just like winning time, we need the views, we need the listens. So please share with people, let people know about the podcast. We're going to be covering the three-part event series, The Continental, which is a spin-off prequel from the John Wick universe, centered around Ian McShane's character. So please, we're going to cover that as 3 episodes over 3 weeks. We'll be covering that starting from this Friday, the 22nd. So please check it out. And maybe we'll do some other things as the months go by, maybe sex education. I'm not really sure. Um, yeah. Okay. So before we go into winning time, I have a question for you guys, please. Let's delve into some personal stuff quickly. When last did either of you fall?
Fall.
As fall,
Like
like fall,
trip.
trip, fall down, slip,
Uh,
anything?
I don't know. It's been a
Hot take.
minute. I
It's
don't
been
have
a
a
while,
strong
right?
remembrance. Yes, I don't. Actually, no. I tell a lie. Like I've tripped on the stairs recently, and I
Yeah, no, but like,
realized that
is it trip as
yeah.
like you catch yourself before you go too far down? Like you don't even get to 90 degrees, or like you actually
Oh
fell.
no, I actually realized that I'm more susceptible to falling up the stairs than down. Like I always miss my step
What?
going up,
Are
and
you going
then
like are you going like two at a time?
sometimes
And
yeah.
then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Chris, when
So
last
I
did you
know
fall?
It was some maybe like I don't know, maybe March or something this year. It was literally so
Not you having an
random.
exact month. That's
No,
quite
I know it was early in the year, but I can't remember. So I'm just saying maybe March, it might have been February, might have been April. I don't know. I just it was literally so random. It was literally like 3 steps from the bottom or something like that.
of jeez. So we're meant to record this yesterday, uh, and I'm slightly happy we didn't because I might have been concussed. Which I actually also saw past lives yesterday, which also might have contributed to me quite emotional at the film. Um, yeah, so I'm cleaning my bathroom earlier in the day, and bro,
ah
it
you
was just
know
like it was just a series of events. I slipped, I was holding water, I kicked the mop bucket. It was just a mess. I found out like 2 hours later that I had like a bump on my head. I didn't even notice it at first. So like
yeah.
it was a bit
And
sore. I was like,
guys, Banky's like 6'6", so imagine him
what a,
falling down.
what a long drop down. I was like, that was the thing where
Nah,
Oh my
I was like,
days.
if I wasn't home alone, I might have been knocked out. Like God would have been like, you know what? If we knock you out right now, that might be too much for you. For you, like you might not be found. So maybe we'll just keep you conscious. Like it was bad. It was like, yeah. Luckily, I
yeah.
fell, which is weird because I fell backwards, but I also hit my forehead. So it's also a whole mess. But because if I was falling forward, yeah, that would have been disgusting. That would have been terrible. That would have been bad. So
Damn
yeah, and
man.
I was
Yeah.
like, this is just I need to discuss about this. I need to discuss it with somebody. So I was like, when last because like it's been a while since I fell.
The bathroom is dangerous though. I always like slip and
So
catch
bad.
myself in the
It's
bathroom.
so it's like it's
Yeah.
bad on a normal thing, but like when you're cleaning, so like part of
Yes.
the floor there's already water, everything. Then when I went to the cinema, I then tripped going up the stairs, and I was like, what's going on today? I was like, should I just put myself in quarantine and isolation? What's going on?
Your balance was fucked the whole day.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to find out when. when last everyone else fell. But actually, speaking of tripping up, should we talk about the Lakers? Um, Winning Time, season 2, episode 7. I actually like that segue. I think I'm quite proud of the way I just connected those two things. I think that was quite impressive. Season 2, episode 7, the season finale. As I said earlier, hopefully not the series finale. It's titled "What Is and What Should Never Be," written by Max Bernstein, Rodney Barnes, and Jim Hecht, whom I think wrote basically all the episodes this season, and directed by Sally Richardson Whitfield. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go game by game, and then we'll just kind of discuss as we go on kind of how the episode goes. We can skip game one because we saw the results of that after the first episode of the season, and we know that that riot, even though it happened in real life, it happened after game 7 and not after game 1, which is something that I didn't want to mention earlier in the season in our coverage here because obviously that people would have known that this series went to 7 games, but people that didn't already know. Um, so let's I guess let's go to game 2. Even though game 1 ends, we kind of see Magic and the Lakers getting a bit cocky, which clearly shows that they don't learn their lessons because they already did this with the Sixers. What are they doing? But obviously, Magic feels the upper hand in his vendetta against Bird. So we get to game 2, and the Lakers are up. Actually, before I go into so Christopher, I think it was after when did Magic do his airball? That was in episode 3, right? I think his airball against Sixers
Airball in this series. Oh,
against
against the Sixers.
Portland.
so no, not against Sixers. Sorry, I think it was Houston. I think it was Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Whoever
Yeah,
was
yeah.
first round,
It
yeah.
was
And
Houston.
then you said, Christopher, you were like that you knew that Magic did something that was another big blight on his career
Oh
that you
yeah,
knew of.
yeah,
Did it happen in this finals or like
yeah. It was this
so
when he dribbled out the clock.
dribbled out? Okay, I assume so. So get to game 2, which is why I brought it up now. Yeah, I obviously didn't know anything about this. So this is like a thing that people know, like him dribbling out.
Hmm. Like, but obviously, like getting
Tragic
to the
Magic.
yeah, like they called him Tragic Johnson after game 3. Sorry, after game 2.
Okay,
So
why is that not in the show? Tradition Johnson is an incredible headline that should have been in this show.
I think that was like the papers, because yeah, like that's the thing. I guess I should have known because I knew it happened, but I think
Mhm.
in my head, like it happened at the end of the series. So like because they lost, they now started calling him Tragic Johnson. But I think it was just as they're reacting to each game when he dribbled out the clock, and they started calling him Tragic Johnson. But you know,
Who is this is a very unscientific question to ask, but who is more responsible for that loss in game 2? Him or why is his name leaving my head now?
worthy.
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 Uh, I mean, I guess you have to say it's Magic just because he's point guard and he's expected to, like that's one of your main job. You have to know time and score. So yeah, I think obviously it's a team game. That's the
Mhm.
PC answer. But like I think if you ask Magic himself, he'll say that yeah, that he did. 'Cause I think when he was talking to West, he was like, I was just in like a trance or something.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but that Worthy pass is like inexcusable, man. You can't be
Yeah.
doing that. That's like passing across your box. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Um, but I know Chris, you want to talk about the Magic Jerry West conversation, or at least I know you liked it. So
oh yeah, like I thought it was interesting because I was trying to fact check it during the episode, but I don't know. I guess that's not in my wheelhouse because I was like, is that how it went? Like, did they both write about that, or did Magic write about it? Because it's actually
well,
interesting,
it's
like
funny you
the
say
way.
that because so they didn't write about a conversation like that, but they did
Mm,
both write that like Magic went to Jerry a lot during the series, even
mm.
after they lost, and that Jerry was always there to kind of like talk to him and help him. So Jerry was kind of like his guy during this series. So while this particular conversation is not there,
Of course,
it's
they lost.
Wow,
wow. I was like,
what a shot
I hope
across
the
the
West heads or Jerry West heads
mouth.
don't like don't take offense with that. So
I
like
did, but
so it's on
no,
record
I
that
like it just
Jerry
because.
Jerry and Magic had a relationship, but not maybe not this particular conversation.
Yeah, now that makes sense. I like it just because, like, I mean, I guess now it feels kind of bad that it wasn't the actual combo because, like, hearing Jerry's insights into like the finals, where he was like, I was every bit as good as Bill Russell in those
Mhm.
finals, but every single time it was like no name who would come up and make a shot or make a play. So,
Well, I'm considering how I know how I feel like these writers work. I'm sure Jerry West said something like that
oh
over the
yeah, like
course of his
maybe
life.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
or maybe,
and
or
then
probably not to Magic, maybe in an interview or
yeah,
something, and they just took that and put
yeah,
that in here. That's kind of how the
okay, yeah,
writers work.
that
Not
makes
everything
sense.
that I said happened said to that particular person, but they try to like just take what they know that character had felt or said at some point, and then they put it into a conversation.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I really liked it. It's like one scene where I mean, I think Jerry West has had two scenes where he's not shouting in the entire show, and they're both doing with Magic right before he sells Norm or trades Norm, and then in this, and obviously we all know I love the when you give Jason Clark a chance to just go and shout, but it's also nice to have this kind of quieter Jerry West scenes. Where you're like, oh, okay, this is the more nuanced side to Jerry West. Yeah, and then I think from there we go to game three, whatever they win. I think it's almost a blowout. Not almost a blowout, but it's basically quite bad. It's basically a blowout, and then um I actually do have. Do we want to go what Bird actually said in that actual press conference, or do we save it for what they call it, fact
Fact
checking?
checking. Fuck it, we're going game by game.
Yeah,
Tell
might as
us
well
what he
just
said.
So okay.
yeah.
Um. So Bird goes. It's embarrassing, no doubt about it. Again, we saw this in the show today. When you see Magic slapping high fives and guys going behind their backs and shooting layups on us all day long, it seems like someone would try to put a stop to it. But until we get our hearts where they belong, we are in trouble. So basically in line with what the show said. Um, and then he goes on. They go on to ask him, "How do you think you can fix it?" And he goes, "Well, we need to go to the hospital and find 12 new heart transplants." So
Damn.
it was basically word for word. And then like he goes, I think in his autobiography or co-written autobiography that there's a book, Magic and Bird, I don't know how to describe it, co autobiography. Anyway, I think it started when the game was ours or something. He talks about how he said that because he just wanted to like motivate his teammates. He didn't know if it would backfire, but at that point, like it was like throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks. Just like he really wanted to call them sissies and see what works. That he could have been slated in the press for it, but he just needed to do something to try and make it work. Um, okay, should we go to game four because this is when they become Stoke City or Vinny Jones's Wimbledon FC. Um, so I went back to watch the video of the Rambis. Again, I didn't know about this. I don't know anything about this Lakers period, and it's so well done that I had to go back and watch the episode to make sure that it was the actors and not like the actual footage. And I think it's the actors, but like the way these guys the directing everything choreographed this, it looks so well done. Like from the Rambis clothesline to Rambis like jump getting up to attack them, and I think it was it Cooper? Maybe it was Worthy that kind of pushed him away so that he wouldn't get involved. To Bird picking him up, all those things. Like yeah, I don't know. It's funny at that point because I didn't know how. Like I said last week, I had an idea of where the the finals was going, but I wasn't entirely sure. At this point, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So the Celtics are winning this. What did you guys think of this sequence? Because did you know about this Rambis clothesline?
The violence?
Yeah.
Nope. I had no idea about like this specific violence incident. No, it was just it was real, like in
Mhm.
the sense that I was like, okay, these guys hate each other, and like this is no longer just a oh I want to beat Bird type of thing. Like this one has become full, like a real full blooded rivalry, the one that
Leicester
gets
versus
your blood
Arsenal,
pumping.
early
As
2000.
exactly the one
Yeah.
that gets your blood pumping as a fan. Like it's no longer just a basketball. Like it's now, these guys are physical. And the thing is, with the NBA as well, like that guy, he clotheslined Kurt Rambis and what he would take a foul or a flagrant, but he's like sends the message he wants to send. He's
Hmm.
done what he wants to do, and like a role player can like this wasn't a role player, but like a role player can do something like that and just take a foul for the team. But now the Lakers know that if they want to go for their easy layups and do all their, and it was the perfect clash of styles because the Lakers are coming with their layups and fancy passing and this and
Hmm.
that, and like the Celtics were like, guy, if you cross this place, we will like we will deck you. Like we're not, don't be joking with us. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was intense, man. Really
And they played
intense.
into the Celtics' hands, let them slow the game
Yeah.
down. Christopher, any thoughts on this? Obviously, you had ideas about it going in, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, when you watch it, it's like, um, how do I put it? I was just thinking, like, I was just calculating, like, because that's the thing. I'm wondering if it was Magic going for that layup, I don't think he would have like clotheslined him because that kind of makes Bird like a target. Like, if you come for Magic, we have to do it to
Yeah,
Bird. So I think it
yeah,
was
fair.
tactical. Like, oh yeah, let me do it to Rambis, where obviously like it's going to raise hell, but they are probably not looking for revenge. So I don't know. I don't know if like Kevin McHale ever spoke about why he chose to do it to Rambis, but I don't know. Just like obviously, I get it. I guess they say all's fair in love and war, so it is what it is. But at the same time, you just feel like I think even Parra said like when he was talking to the team, like them doing that shows that their backs are against the wall. Blah blah. It shows that we have them. But it's like I don't know. It kind of felt like a bit cheap to me, man. Like you have to start using such tricks. But I mean, it worked. Like it's not
I
as if
mean, it
I'm
works
saying
in
like
the end, yeah.
title was cheap. It just feels like, come on, man. Like,
Like I said,
like
title was cheap.
no,
I,
like not okay, but okay, like
That's
for
an
example,
asterisk.
like let's say, obviously, I get fouls and stuff like that. That's part of the game, but like, and obviously,
Mhm.
being physical is a tactic. Well, imagine like you're playing against Messi now. You're trying to defend him, and you know that I have no chance. Let me just start stepping on him, like elbow, like just like come on, man, like.
Wait, I mean, you mean like Mourinho's Madrid?
Even
I
yeah, I
saw
mean, but
this
like I know,
happen.
but okay, no, but in that case, like both sides were very physical. Like if you go back and watch those classicals, that was like Madrid and Pepe and Co. They were, but like Barca were not innocent by any means, man. I mean, if it's just like one team using dirty tricks,
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like end of the day, like I said, it worked. But I think if it's me, I'd have had to do something back. Like Rambi should have done it. Like even if not Bird, but he should have gotten back his own
Well, I mean, I
part
think
of
they.
it.
I mean, obviously, I didn't watch it. But like from the show, it looks like they tried, but it just you can't beat the Celtics in their game, right? Like I was just immediately thinking about the bad boy pistol. I was just thinking of like Last Dance and what we see from like those guys, and it was like you can try or you can like you can say you're going to go toe to toe with Vinny Jones's team or Stoke City or whatever, like, but you're not going to beat them at their game. Like
Yeah, no,
they,
I mean Rambis himself personally just getting one back. Like not the whole team now result. I just mean Rambis like how you smash me out of the sky like that. Like imagine if I got injured. Like, nah man, I have to get my revenge. Like on Mikel or on Parish or Dennis John or whoever.
Mhm.
I have to get my revenge
I'm
on
sure they
someone.
tried. I'm sure they did something. Just like it wasn't. It didn't matter to
Yeah.
because that's what Celtics wanted. So to them, it's like when you're when you're angry and you're attacking someone, the person is laughing, and you're like, and you're
Yeah.
getting angrier because like it's not choking the person the way it should be affecting them. And you're just
yep.
like, so yeah, I think no matter what you do to Celtics, that I've been enjoying it's like this is not helping anybody. But just even that moment, I think when I can't remember what the crowd is chanting, which was the real thing they were chanting in real life too about the Celtics. And then Bird looks around and looks at us and he's like, "We got him." And I was like, "Let's just make this show about team. Let's just make." I don't know how you made this Larry Bird character cool in
He
like
was
three
amazing.
episodes, but let's just make the
Yeah.
show about him at this
Like
point. I don't even care anymore.
this was a
Just
really
a
good
bit
episode.
of
Yeah.
filmmaking. I think the reveal when, or at least it was a reveal to me that like Riley was trashing someone else's office was just hilarious. 'Cause, like you see him, and I'm like, oh, he's attacking his office, and they just revealed like, the team doctor. And I was like, that's just funny. Um, I mean, we're going to focus mostly on the basketball this episode because that's kind of what it is. But like, there are some good conversations I think we might touch on as well. And I think because of how the episode has been structured, a lot of it then just comes to this episode being about basketball, right? There's some honey things here. There's some genie things here. But I think when we leave the episode, what we're thinking about is the basketball. And I'm sure that's what the show wanted as well. Should we go to game five? Because at this point now it's what 2-2, and they're heading back to Boston.
Yes.
And they are heading back to a very hot Boston. And immediately I thought about I'm pretty sure it was when he was at Madrid, not Inter. But when Mourinho told the groundsman to let the grass grow, so that like Pep's Barca couldn't kick the ball as fluidly. Do you guys remember that? And I was just
Yes.
like, this is what kind of tactics? I was like, only hot water in the Lakers dressing room. Like, so apparently it was even much worse than the show. Like, Red, he knew this was coming. Like, he knew the weather was getting this bad. So he ordered like hundreds of packs of ice. So, like, his guys were always cool, always had like fresh cold towels. The Lakers claimed that it was only hot water in their thing. Red is like, no. The Lakers claimed that their vent had only hot air coming in. Red was like, I didn't do any of that. So it's just like I'm just like, oh, fair enough, man. You guys are not playing basketball. You guys are doing psychological
Yeah, you
war.
see, but like that goes back to what I was saying. Like, obviously, like I get it, it is what it is, but at the same time, like, come on, man, like what kind of slimy tricks are those? Like, because I think
Chris
even
is
like
like,
the
this is
ESPN
not the spirit of the
documentary,
game. Let's keep the
no,
game
like,
pure.
because I think even in like the ESPN documentary, like they mentioned this part, like how when they got to Boston, how it was like boiling hot and all these
Mhm.
cheap tricks. Yeah, like there was only hot water. That the Lakers locker room was like a furnace. I'm just like, come on, man, like.
So what do you want them to do? You want them to give them ice as
No,
well to
like
make
okay,
everything
no,
fair.
but no things that teams do. Like for example, I think even across all sports, like the home locker room is always nicer than like the guest.
Hmm.
Like that's normal. I'm not saying give them the exact same things you have because like it's meant to be home, home advantage. All I'm not saying is that to now start you don't have running water or rather like the water runs only hot. Like you're pumping in hot air. It's like come on, man. Like
Can I say that, like, you know how there's people who are like, let's give all the Olympians drugs and let's really
Uh-huh.
see the limits of human ability. I like
I'm one of
I'm
those
curious.
people.
Yeah. I'm also like, you know what, fuck it, man. Like, let's make the away games as uncomfortable as possible for the away team. Like, let's all play dirty. Like, let's be as dirty. Like, within sensible and legal
Yeah, but
rights, let's
then
be as dirty as
someone like
possible.
Chris is then like that's not the spirit of the game.
Like,
no,
haven't you watched
I'm not
Super
saying.
Strikers? These guys will go up to the mountains to have to play without oxygen masks, and they're
I'm
all
no.
meant to be used to the
See,
conditions. Nah.
see, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like a team should try and enforce their home field advantage as much as possible. Like this is not me saying that like I said, make it you know flowers and roses. Or if you like you're meant to have your home. Like I said, teams do it.
Yeah.
Like the locker rooms are literally always nice. Like when I think even every prem team does it. Like you see like the home locker rooms, they are so nice. Like the
Mhm.
seats are so comfortable. Then you now see like the away locker room is literally just like one hard chair. Like so it's normal.
So
All I'm just
small.
saying is that
Yeah, there's always a
it
home
should
court
not
advantage
be to the
unless you're Arsenal and then you play better away than at home. Um,
yeah, but I just feel it shouldn't be like stooping to such lows. Like it's okay. We have like okay, for example, like one common one in the NFL, like the Miami Dolphins,
mhm.
their stadium is like an outdoor stadium. So the home bench has like shade over it, but like if you're playing away, like you're literally right in like the hot sun, like you're
Very
right there
good.
for the whole game. So I'm saying that yeah, like see that kind of thing. As much as it's somehow like for me, that's okay. Teams know about it. If I'm going to play in Miami, I know I have to come with like extra Gatorade. Maybe I have to
Mhm.
bring like a fan on the sidelines. But I mean the sun. There's nothing you can do about it. But I'm saying it will be somehow to now make it worse. Like in addition to that, maybe like
So
the away locker room, you now don't have cold water. Like there's no AC. It's just like come on, like that's just
I think what you're
inhumane.
saying is that the home side shouldn't help, but they shouldn't make it worse. They shouldn't actively make it worse, right? So like they
Something
shouldn't create
along those
shade for
lines.
the away team, but they shouldn't like blow hot air into their locker
Yeah,
room.
okay, exactly. Like you don't go and put like a mirror that will now go and shine, that will go and intensify the sun, like on the bench. Like
Fair,
that's
fair,
basically the gist of what I'm saying.
fair. I get what I understand what you're saying. I don't think Ebuka agrees, but I understand what you're saying. Um, okay, I want to take a pause here because I mentioned how like this episode was just mainly basketball, and I think so. There's something here that I watched the episode twice. I still couldn't figure it out. I think there is something the show or the episode is trying to say trying to say something about Magic and Cookie, but I couldn't figure it out. And I don't know if it's me like over reading into it, but I don't know. It felt like their interactions were not finished, and maybe it was building stuff for next season. Fingers crossed. But like, do you get what I mean? Like, there's the scene when Magic tells her to wait back, and then the journalists come and take pictures. And it cut to some shots of Cookie, and I'm like, did Magic just plant that so that there were pictures of him and Cookie in the press? Or even when they're at home and Cookie's talking to Magic's mom, Magic's talking to his dad, and it feels like they're not on the same page about getting married. Obviously, we know, like we said, that they've moved this proposal up, as in the writers. We know he proposed it several times. So I don't know. Did they have times where they almost got married? Do you get what I'm saying? Did it feel like the interactions were not finished in this episode, or was that just me?
Yeah, 100%. Like, even the one you said, like, after the game, to me, I thought, oh, okay, they'll have a conversation.
Mm-hmm,
Even
mm-hmm.
when they were in in the house with his family, I thought, okay, they'll have a conversation, but they just never had that conversation that I was expecting. So yeah, definitely
Yeah,
agree.
like Cookie said things like how she's had things she wanted to achieve, and I was just like, it just felt like it didn't feel like an end of the season conversation. And
Yeah.
obviously, if they plan on continuing season three, that makes sense. But it was like, oh, this doesn't. I don't know. It just felt unconclusive. Or was rather inconclusive. I don't know, Chris. Any thoughts on that, or did you not notice it?
Oh, no, I just took it as what Magic said, or rather what she said in terms of he's playing the finals right now. Let me
Mhm.
not burden him with whatever. Like,
So, did you think that
hopefully.
she had something that she wanted to, that she had on
Oh
her?
yeah, I
Like,
felt yeah, I felt like there was stuff they had to address, but yeah,
mhm.
I guess I just took her at face value that she didn't want to bring it up like in the midst of
Fair.
such a series.
Yeah,
So
I know. Yeah, that makes sense. I just wasn't sure if the show, if it was a mistake in writing, or the show was just going to be like, yeah, we'll touch on this after this series. Um, Game four, I am very annoyed that I knew about MJ's quote unquote flu game. Um, the real
But you
no,
didn't know about
but I didn't know about
Kareem's
Kareem's
migraine.
migraine game, and we
not
know his own was actually a migraine because, as Magic said, he was Muslim. And so, but MJ's flu game,
Flu.
quote unquote, sure. I've had flu as well so many so many times on a Saturday morning.
Oh
um,
God.
but yeah, I mean, like that might like if you anyone who knows what a migraine is, especially in 19 whatever, I'm sure people didn't really know how to treat it or whatever, how to deal with it. Like to be able to play the kind of monster game it seemed Kareem played with a migraine in like I don't know how to put it. Like Riley said it in the worst possible scenario, like a full stadium with lights and everything. And I just think that was just very incredible. Did you know about the migraine game, Chris?
nope. Like
So it's not even in ESPN documentary.
maybe it was, but who knows? Like I
Probably was.
know.
You see all the hoopla about flu game, nothing about the migraine game.
I actually,
Is
yeah. I didn't. I mean, no, it was probably mentioned to be honest, because like they actually addressed the rivalry properly. So maybe just a detail that I had forgotten. But yeah, and it was game six, not four. I think you said it was game
wasn't it
four.
five? No,
Now five
yeah, it
was
was
when
six.
Bird
That's it
went
four.
crazy. Yeah, you said four.
Oh no, because five is Boston. I meant to say six because it's
Yeah,
five is
yeah,
Boston. They're losing and six ties it at 3-3. And
yeah.
then now we're at game seven. Um, so Ebuka, did you know what the outcome of this finals was?
So I would say before I watched the episode, I had an inkling,
Mm-hmm.
right, that Boston wins the title this year, and
Mm-hmm.
that was just from like random trying to remember like NBA history.
Yeah.
But then during the episode, I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the Lakers do actually do it. And then in game seven literally plays out in the perfect way to play with my mind because
Mm-hmm.
the Celtics are far ahead. And then the Lakers start coming back. I'm like, oh, okay. Because the reason why I say so is because I know there is one big flop that the Celtics have in their history, that Bird has in his history. I
Okay.
don't know when or where it is. I know it's similar to what Magic did, where there was an inbound pass and they literally get scored twice in the last 5 seconds
Fair.
or something
Fair,
crazy.
fair, fair. So you
So I
thought
was like,
this
okay,
was it?
yeah, I thought the Lakers were going to do it now, but nah, the Celtics said no. The big green machine. I can't lie. I don't know how the Lakers survived, bro. These guys beat them every year in the 60s, some years in the 70s, and started beating them again in the 80s. I can't.
Now,
Oh my god.
if you were a Lakers fan who was like 55 during this Magic era, meaning you've seen like the whole Bill Russell, Jerry West thing, I think it would go beyond basketball. I think I would actively hate Boston, people from Boston. Like I would not even like a basketball thing. Like I would genuinely hate you. I would be like, I would be racist to you.
I'll be
I
waking
would,
up every day angry that like these guys just have everything in life. Like I would, nah, and terrible.
but
And
before we go, yeah, go ahead.
I empathize with I can't remember who said this. I think it was Pat Riley. And I was like, don't call this shit a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. Like
It was
yeah,
Jerry Boss last week.
we
Yeah,
we don't beat them. Like this is not a rivalry. They're just beating us and beating us and
in my
beating
head I
and
was
they
like,
need
the real rivalry might be with the Sixers
yeah,
because
exactly.
because it's 2-1. Like that's a rivalry.
Like instead of you to
Not
like
10-0 or
face your
something.
mates.
Chris, you didn't know that they won this
Yeah,
first
like I
first
said,
round?
I just know the outcome of the Celtics Lakers. Like,
Do you know the
seem
overall
like
score? Hmm.
yeah, exactly. So I wasn't sure who won. Like I was leaning Lakers just because. Well, let me not spoil it in case anyone doesn't know how the series ended. But like I
Yeah,
was
don't
just
spoil
leaning
it.
Lakers. So I was I know like Ebuka said when they were down big and then they stayed like Magic was like, yeah, look at them, how they're how they're already
Mm-hmm.
celebrating. Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
worry, we'll come back. It actually seemed like okay, they are mounting a comeback. Okay, let's see. And then yeah, obviously then but also like for the fact checking, did was there actually like a BS foul called on who was that foul called on? Was it Worthy or Cooper?
Kareem.
Or who?
Or the Kareem one.
Yeah, no, I don't think I know Kareem fouled out, but I think there was another foul that gave them free throw or something where like it seemed
Or
like the Lakers felt like they like they had gotten robbed by the call. I think it
it
was
was
a
a
block.
soft foul. Yeah, the block. Yeah,
Yeah, the
it was
block
a
that
soft
like
foul.
they
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
it was Kareem.
I mean, I think it was Kareem. No, wasn't it Kareem?
Yeah, maybe it was Kareem,
Oh,
but yeah,
I
like
didn't see that like fact checking, but like it's probably. I mean, his game is busting and refs. It's probably a thing that happened.
yeah.
Like,
So, but yeah, I'm
apparently,
obviously
so apparently, you know,
for the
when this was
Lakers.
something again fact checking that I thought, oh, this is just a funny thing, but in that Boston Heat game, like a ref actually fainted on the floor
Oh
because
yeah,
because he
yeah,
was
like
that hot.
yeah, that's I actually knew that.
So like Ebuka, like I said last week, I had an inkling. I felt like I think the Celtics are going to win this. I think just because of like again random Wikipedia pages, random. Just I was like, I feel like this is the one the Celtics win. And then obviously the episode is going like, oh maybe the Lakers are going to do this. And then Bird talks to his mom, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. I was like, never mind, the Celtics have won this.
You know what's crazy? Your moment was like when he talked to his mom. When I
Yeah,
started getting scared was when he did the press conference.
I was in the sissies.
Yeah, that's when I started getting scared.
Fair, fair. But I think but I think that was because there's still a chance that after Kareem's game, I'm like, oh, maybe they still. And then he talked to his mom. His mom says, play with more joy. And I was like, oh, fuck this, man. The Celtics have won this. Once his mom is like, play with a smile on your face, I was like, oh, never mind.
Oh god.
This is not the Lakers to win. Um, yeah, and then like they try to come back. There's some very cool shots. The basketball is incredible as always. Um, Jerry Boss looks at the camera and was like, "I told you, everything is just working well." And then yeah, they they lose because Magic drops a shot, doesn't he? Yeah,
Yeah,
Magic
it
drops a
doesn't go
shot,
in.
and then
Yeah.
he turns over, and then that's kind of how the whole thing happens, and then yeah, like it leads to them in the locker room all depressed, and I that was so emotional to me.
They show before we get to that, they show Bird shooting, right?
Mhm,
And at this point, I was like, "Oh, the Celtics." I was still thinking the Celtics are gonna win, but then Bird missed. When
mhm.
it was in slow mo, I was like, "I don't think they've ever shown us Bird shooting and like leaving his hand in the air, and he misses in this show." So I was like, "Oh yeah." So now this is just Celtics are gonna go on to win,
But
but he missed,
I
and I'm
think
like,
from there the Magic goes to miss his own, though, isn't it?
"Yeah,
Isn't it?
exactly." But
Yeah,
like once he misses, I'm like, "Okay, that means the Lakers are gonna come back." But nope, Magic misses, and then everything runs away. But yeah,
yeah.
that scene after was extremely
Extreme
emotional.
emotion. Like the hug of all the teammates, like the way
Yeah,
Magic and Riley are looking at each other. I was like, oh, this is actually.
and they don't say anything.
I want to be. If there's any reason for me to want to be famous, is not a nice word to use, but as in, I just like more known than any other, just so I can be friends with athletes. Like I want to be friends with Arsenal
Okay,
players.
so I said this the other day, and I say it very regularly. Actually, one of the reasons I love Drake, right, is that like if I had money, I can't like everyone calls him a groupie, whatever. I would feel.
So,
I'd be like,
so do you remember during the Raptors, the one time that they won that finals, and I think they were
yeah,
playing Golden State, weren't they? And we
yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's Drake?" I was like, "So Drake did he get Steph Curry's dad's jersey?" And I was like, "That's exactly what I would do." What are you guys talking about? Like,
Like
of course I
Drake
was like,
has money, and he acts like how I'm a fan of these guys. So why would I act different because I have money?
like why would if I can literally like be this mascot for my favorite team? Why would I not do that? And then I can take the piece out of other people. Like, why not? Like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, Chris, it seems like you have opposing views on this.
No, like I mean, maybe not be famous, but I don't know. Like sports is. I think I always say it like just in the aftermath of Game 7, like sports is actually so cruel because literally you always see juxtapose the thrill of victory and the agony
Hmm.
of defeat. Like literally, I was like, bro, imagine just after that tough series, you guys are the ones that lose, man. And you just
Do
have
you know
to
what wouldn't
literally
have been as painful
what?
if they didn't lose to their rival?
Ah,
But you guys are always like,
oh,
let's face our
yeah,
rivals.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying it's worse for a player. Like as a fan, I can take it. Like I'm saying, but if you act, you're a player, you like battled for 7 games, going, and that's another thing about it. Like you're flying back and forth. LA Boston, LA Boston. Like
It's,
it's actually an
I mean, should we
arduous.
talk about sports psychology right now? Because
Okay.
honestly, last season, Dortmund could have
Yeah.
won the league final game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Bro,
And I
man,
don't know what they
please,
did.
please,
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't
let's
know
not even
how
go
I
there.
survived as a
Like,
Dortmund fan as a Dortmund player after
I'm
that.
Yeah.
not even a Dortmund fan, but just watching it, I was like,
Yeah.
come, like you
Irritated
guys
the
have
hell
the
out of me.
chance
When
to
they like
probably
2-0
end
down,
this
like I can't remember.
stranglehold.
'Cause I was watching this thing on my phone. I
Oh,
was like, what is going on? Like you
bro,
Okay,
can't be.
please,
so
Yeah.
please,
so
let's not
that
dive into
is
Dortmund.
something that I was thinking about. Like speaking of sports psychology and like Dortmund, the legends of choking, right? I have noticed something when you compare like NBA to the NFL to football. And I don't know if it's because of the way we watch football or the way that the game is structured, right? When you watch the NBA or the NFL and a specific player chokes, it's
Hmm.
very obvious when someone chokes, when someone makes an insane decision they would not make if that game was a normal game.
Yeah.
But in football, it's less obvious when a player chokes and more obvious when the team chokes, if that makes sense. Like, if, I feel like it's more common in
Yeah,
football
I get
as
what you're saying.
as soccer. So it's like if a player misses a penalty, yeah, fair enough. Like everyone misses a penalty. If we're removing penalty shootouts during the game, a player misplaces a pass, it happens.
Hmm.
Like what Karius did with Benzema in the Champions League final. Karius can do that on a regular day. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel like there's so much pressure that they are doing things they wouldn't do on a normal. It's just
Do
that
you
the
think?
entire team is just
Yeah.
not.
Do you think it's because the workload is more spread out in football? Like they're literally 11 players, 10
Yeah,
outfield players.
maybe because it's more spread out and like I think also the margin for error that leads to because football is low scoring, the margin for error that
Hmm.
leads to something
Oh
is
yeah, that
less
makes yeah,
obvious.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just
Like
because
scoring, like what James Worthy did is basically be like scoring an own goal,
yeah,
but it's just 2 points in a game of 100 and something points. But it could be one goal in a game of 2 goals or 3 goals. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And the reason why I thought about that was because the one decision that I always think about, or the one thing in all of sports that always blows my mind, is the Super Bowl. And you watch the Super Bowl and you see guys do things that they would never do. I don't know if it's the eyes, the fanfare, and like
It's everything. Yeah.
people just lose their minds, and it costs their
Lose
team.
their
It's
minds.
insane.
I
Yeah,
mean, I think,
nah,
but
nah.
also in football, if a player drops a disaster class, that's a strong disaster. Like if a player drops a thing where just like
Okay,
nothing is working, like nothing. We always say like Giroud versus Monaco, just like
how often do we see that in a final?
no, 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 yeah, no, no. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I think also football final is like you have to be compact and you have to be like whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Like
always very like it's a cagey affair. Like a
yeah,
lot of time
it
in
should be it
finals.
should be
Like
most times. No, I
yeah,
get what
but
you're saying. But
also
like even just if so, I think removing the thing of a final, using that like Dortmund thing, win the title final day of the season. Like think about all the things that are going through every single player's mind. I don't think I'll be able to sleep for like next 2 weeks because every time I close my eyes, I'll just see the game again. Like you can't after how many? But Tottenham have won the league in almost 10 years, right? If not more.
11. Bayern
Jesus
have won
Christ.
11 in a row. So
Jesus Christ. I literally almost almost choked on my 11 in a row makes no
nasty
sense.
work, man. But I think also like to speak to psychology of sports people, I think with across every sport I watch, like all the great players and athletes and everything, I think the one thing I've noticed the common thread, like the most successful, like obviously like your like Serena, MJ,
Mhm,
Djokovic, Nadal. Like I think you have to hate losing more than
mhm.
you love winning. Like I always say, like
Yeah.
because literally, like for me, that I think that's what drives them. It's not so much like obviously winning is nice, but like
fair.
and you
Fair.
always hear athletes talk about how they remember the losses way more than the wins. Like that's what you remember. Like okay, even if you've won 6 championships, it's like the three that you lost that now stick in your mind. Like what could I have done differently? Like is there something like is there a play that I didn't make that would have changed the outcome? Because I just like literally watching that finals, like I was like, bro, if it was me, man, the whole summer I was just being like a trance, like how the hell
You
did
know,
we lose that? And especially Lakers because they had chances to go up like 3-0. Like so, I think
Lakers
for
could have gone
them,
2-0. They
that,
could have gone
that was
4-1 or something. It's just like, yeah.
yeah, like it probably should never have gone to like a game 7 in the first place. So I think that will make it even worse. Like when you know you had chances to snuff them out and like you didn't, and now they've come back to win. Like I think I would have. It would have been a very long summer for me,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know how. I think, just again on sports psychology, I just think the fact that they can bring themselves back up, the fact that Dortmund players can come back to training camp the next summer is so admirable to me because honestly, I would be done. Like I would just be like, especially if you've actually given your all, like you felt like everything you put out was on the field.
Oh yeah, like that Dortmund thing was even
but
worse because Bayern were now also losing. Oh,
losing, yeah.
bro,
So they
please,
had hope.
please,
The
please,
Dortmund thing
please.
was
So
terrible.
Like
okay,
as
so you know the sad thing about that Dortmund thing, which is like what Chris was saying about loving
For
winning.
anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we're talking about
Okay,
the Bundesliga Dortmund end of last season. You can just look it up. They've not won the league in 11 years, and they had the chance to win the league final day of the season, and then they're losing
all
two
they
0
had
to
to do
a
was
team that had
win.
not won in like 4 games, something stupid like that.
Ah,
Anyway, sorry,
yeah.
continue.
And then, but what I was saying is like the thing about loving winning versus like hating losing is that
Mm-hmm.
maybe the just any team that chokes, maybe they try and pretend that we're just focusing on ourselves. Let's just play our game. But because they've not leaned into the fact that we really don't want to lose to Bayern or we really don't want to lose to these
Mm,
guys, there's like a clash inside them. So it affects how they move during the game. I don't know. Like I just choking is one of the saddest things that could happen to you. Like I feel bad for anybody that chokes. Like I could hate a basketball team, right? But once I see a player actually like do something so obviously costing to their team, I'm like, oh
yeah.
fuck, that hurts.
Unless you're normally a cocky player, and I'm like, that's what you deserve. But like if any Liverpool player probably chokes, I'll probably be laughing my way to the bank. Anyway, no, but just what about the thing on sports psychology? I think the thing that always impresses me the most, and this is mostly I don't watch NFL, so this is mostly about basketball and tennis. It's just their ability to like will themselves to come back. Like you could be watching a tennis game, and this guy is like 2 sets down, 40 love, or love 40, whatever, and they're still fighting to come back. And I'm like, why? I would have
yeah,
just given up a long time. And sometimes
yo,
they do. Many times they do. And it makes no sense to me because it's
it
like these guys
actually
had
doesn't.
8 minutes
Like
left,
I
and they
think
went what?
tennis is the best example as well
Tennis
because
is
it's
ridiculous.
like an individual sport. So, like, and
It,
that's the thing
it
about
makes
individual
no
sports as well. Like
sense.
there's nowhere to hide. Like in a team sports, maybe if you're having a bad game, you can hide behind like your teammates. Or maybe people might not even notice that you're having a bad game. What
Mm-hmm.
is tennis? Is literally you. Like it's not let this guy sub in for me. Like it's going to come down to me. Like and that example you just gave, Nadal at the Australian Open. I'm a big Nadal fan. I was
Mm-hmm.
like that point you just made of how me as a fan that's is not even playing. I
I'm
was
giving up.
finished. Like I was
Fine.
literally like because I think it was crazy because I think Nadal the first set was tight and then he lost. Then second set I think again was tight. He now lost. I was like, bro. I was literally just in bed. I was like, bro, why me? Like like literally, I was just wallowing in like a sea of despair. Like, come on. And then he starts coming back, and I'm like, bro, like, how do you have the strength to even just be there? And that's another thing, like, literally nowhere to hide. Like, you're in a big
Yeah.
stadium, you have cameras everywhere, you have the audience. Like, who knows what the crowd is shouting? Like, even though obviously like he's quite popular, so like
Yeah.
maybe they're on his side,
And
but
tennis
at the
is meant
same
to be
time,
respectful.
it's literally like everyone's watching you. Like, you can't hide. There's nowhere to go. It's not as if maybe when you're a child, let me take my ball and go home. Like you have to face the music, and it's just like, bro, how and for me that's why like even for example like Djokovic, even though I'm not his biggest fan, when sometimes when you're watching him, you have to just accept that yeah, man, like what this guy is doing, like the Wimbledon final against Federer,
Mm.
bro. I have never seen it like till now. Like I feel bad for my federal fans because like if it's me, I think I may have quit. I may have quit watching the sports,
That's
man.
the real
Like
mentality sports tennis.
I may
Like
have I mean
your mentality has to be different.
I may have quit watching the sports if
Because
that happened to
physically,
that now,
I'm just like
man.
physically,
Like
I'm just like it's easier for me to just stop
Your
now.
exactly
your
just to
hand
quit.
is killing you.
Because you're tired, like just like why am I doing this? Like sometimes in football, you see people that they're trying to score one goal, and you can tell they just want to score one goal because they don't want to like finish the match 3-0 or whatever. But tennis, they're not trying to score 1 point or one game. They're trying to win this thing. I'm like, it logically doesn't make sense for you to win this thing. Like, why are you giving?
Like even if you want one set, then two sets, like you're like
It's not.
setting yourself up for more punishments by
And it's
winning
not
one set.
exactly, and it's not even only about you. It's not like, oh, I want to win 2 sets. You have to stop your opponent, who is objectively just as good, from getting another set himself. I'm just like, how do you want to do these two things
Yeah.
at the same time?
Yeah,
When you
also
explain
like
like that, it's actually real because in football you have a clock, right? They're beating you 2-0. You're like, I'll just try my best at 90th minute, whatever happens, happens. But in tennis, it's like, okay, if I score one, I'm extending this suffering. I could fight
exactly.
really hard and still lose 7-5. Like I could extend this suffering for nothing. It's like
Specifically, it's like I'm going to get
And
one set,
also
2 sets. I'm just like, oh no, just allow it. Just go to bed. You come back. They come back again in the next 80, next ATP WTA series.
bro, nah.
Oh,
like
it's
the thing
like,
the thing with tennis as well, like I think it's also the biggest like momentum sports as well. Because I tell you,
hmm.
I've watched some crazy tennis. Like
Wait, more than
someone will win.
basketball.
No, see, I'm telling you, I've watched tennis games where someone will win the first set like 6-love, and obviously you're thinking, yeah, like this person is cooked, and then maybe the second set, that person who won the first set 6-love is maybe up like 5-1 or something. So it looks
Hmm.
for all intents and purposes like okay, like this match is over, like this, this is like a waste of time, and then they're serving for the match, and then they now get broken, and then from there the match completely flips. Like the person who was literally down six
Right.
love 5-1 comes back and wins 7-5,
And then
and
the
you're like,
crowd is on
bro,
there. Yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell just happened here? Like
I
this
think
guy was
just
probably flat. Yeah, like
yeah.
it's
Even under your point, tennis is the one sport where it's just like kill a nigga when it's down. Like you see some guys
facts,
that they're
facts. Like
playing Djokovic, and I'm
literally,
like, don't just
literally, do
finish
not give him
Djokovic
like,
now. Don't give him a
like,
chance to come back
don't
in.
give him this like the slimmest hope. Like, it's like that's the thing. Like, you have to crush, you have to be ruthless because it's
Like you
like
just don't
all the
just
top
do
players
it.
need is just like an opening. Like, just give
Uh,
like once they put like that, once they have their foot in the door,
Djokovic
sometimes you
breaks
just
you,
see
and
it
you know
as
he's
like.
winning the next, and you're just like, it's done.
Yeah,
Unless
literally,
he
like,
breaks
or
you.
even like it's happened. That's what I'm saying. Like Djokovic, as much as he's not my favorite player. Like I have to respect it. Like so many times where like people are already dancing on his grave prematurely. Like it happened like in the past 3-4 years, maybe like 3-4 times. Like
Hmm.
French Open final, he was down 2-sets to love. He came back to win. In the Wimbledon quarters, I think last year or 2 years ago, he was
Bro,
down two sets to love, came back to win. I'm like, bro, like this guy, man, like once you give him just that, I'm back in the match. It's like over literally like sometimes I just close my stream, like, yeah. Oh, we all know what's happening here. Like there's
wait,
no need
please. I
punishing
don't remember.
myself.
I don't remember this properly, but didn't Alcaraz do the same thing to Djokovic like earlier this year? Like, I think Djokovic was beating him like 2-0 and he came back to win.
I don't think it was 2 sets to love. I think it
Okay,
was
Let me
okay.
look
no.
this up.
Like they both had some like crazy shifts of
Wimbledon,
momentum, but
right?
I
Yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't too like I can't lie. I don't think anyone who will beat Djokovic from like 2 sets to love down, like unless he gets injured or something. Like you'd have to go completely crazy. Like if he's no, I think it was surprising because Djokovic won the first set, I believe, and like he typically doesn't lose after he wins the first set. So like that's what made it
Ah,
impressive.
okay.
So it
But
Fair,
was
yeah,
fair, fair.
now from like two sets
six
to
six
love, man,
one
like
to
just forget.
Djokovic in the first set,
Exactly.
and
So
seven
yeah,
six to
so it
Alcaraz.
looks like oh yeah, like this Alcaraz guy is cooked, especially because he had just lost the French Open final to
Yeah,
Djokovic, and like he started cramping in that. So it
six
looked like
one.
oh, like we're back here again. He's
Yeah,
playing Djokovic in the final, and like he's choking again. But obviously, like he ended up
yeah.
winning. So
So he was
yeah,
yeah
man,
he was 2-1 up.
sports is
Anyway,
crazy, man.
let's finish up with winning time. Any final thoughts on like the episode in particular before we do some like end of
Oh yeah,
season wrap ups?
I forgot to mention one thing at the beginning of the episode. Do you know how shameless it is to be chasing a bus as a fan? Like I was just watching it, I was like, bro, like how shameless you are. Like I genuinely don't care how. how invested I am. Like, if my
See,
team loses or
I
whatever,
think
like
I think
I can't start
one
chasing
thing
after a boss like some dog, man. Like, oh,
I think one thing you sign up for when you become a fan, or that I've realized in like the last year, is that there is a wide spectrum of fans. You're one of them, but there are the really insane, and they're like people more sensible than even you. So like, there's a
True,
wide spectrum
true.
of fans.
That's actually very true. Yeah.
it's
But
true,
I
but
mean, it looks like Celtics were the original Philadelphia sports fans. As
Fair.
like, and again, it seems like those are the two cities that like, based on my knowledge of American media, that are like this. That would like, let's put it in
also,
context. So in this show, this thing happens after they lost game one. But in real
yeah.
life, it happened after they won game seven.
Yeah, game
So
seven. So that's how, like, also, like, that small detail that I just couldn't, when they were on the bus and they're driving away, and I think Riley was talking to Magic at, like, the back of the bus.
yeah.
That hot dog board that was stuck to the window didn't let me take that scene seriously. Like, I just kept looking at it, like, what the hell is this, man? Like, it was just plastered to the window, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
is this
god.
thing going to fall off? And
I
then
mean,
he
we
just
know
did this.
from people who watch American sports and American media that like Philadelphia, win or lose, the city is burning,
Something is good. Yes.
Something.
which is kind
Oh,
of what happens, I guess, with the Celtics at least back then. England is not really like that. Like we have our hooliganism, but like it's never really. I don't know. It's never
Yeah,
really a
rioting.
city-wide thing.
no, 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 no. I guess not citywide, but
Yeah.
English fans can be bad. Like, I
Oh
remember,
no, there
like,
will
even
be
when I was,
violence, but like it would be like
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
it will be fight. It will be like one-on-one fight. It's never be like them destroying a lamppost or turning over a police car. Do you get what I mean? Like it will just be like people are fighting because they're drunk and stupid, but like never
Fez.
mass chaos. Um. Okay, Ebuka, any final thoughts on the episode?
Oh, it was. I can't believe that I just imagine losing a game seven, and a fan is unfortunate enough to offer their face up as tribute for you to just let
Oh yeah, I can't believe we didn't talk
So I was,
about
I
that.
was gonna, I was gonna keep that for the fact checking, but we can talk about
I
it now.
can't believe we talk about that, man. Like,
I,
can you
I'll be
imagine such
like,
rubbish?
God, thank you. Just
Like that guy who jumped on Kareem's
Kareem.
back. I was like,
yeah,
bro. Oh, and then of all people who you now jump on his back is now Kareem. Of all people, like,
Don't worry, like you can't imagine Kareem being angry.
angry.
And then,
Yes.
like, I know, like this really happened. Kareem,
Uh
Kareem really punched this person.
nah, it's
that
good,
Um,
was
man.
crazy.
Like,
the Rambis thing apparently was settled out of court like 5 years later, like a
Mad.
while.
hmm.
Because Rambis was
If
like, he doesn't
I
remember doing it, and then but then in 2008, 2009, the guy was like, he confessed that he provoked Rambis, like he tried to take
yeah, like
Rambis'
that's what I was
place.
gonna say. Because if I'm Rambis, like, I'm not settling shit, man. Like, how you come after I've just lost, I'm angry, and you're like,
I mean, legally, he still
oh
assaulted
no, no,
him now.
no. Okay, like that's what I'm saying. Like, didn't
No,
the
I
guy
think
push Rambis or something like that?
I think it looked like Rambis one was just unprovoked, or the guy was
Oh,
just
okay,
standing
fair.
there.
No, no, no.
No, no, but
Because
the
I
guy,
guess
the guy, the guy said in real life that he actually
I guess
he
I'm
tried to,
misremembering.
yeah, he tried to
Yeah,
grab Rambis's jersey, and that's when Rambis
fair.
turned around and
Okay, yeah,
like he,
fair enough. Because I'm just like, if you actually do
Guys,
something first, like,
I can't like
anything I do, man, just
that
take it
was
like
low
that.
key that was low key insane though, because one, even without any knowledge, I don't ever want to receive a punch from an NBA player. But two,
almost 7
uh,
footer. What do you know? What is
and
coming behind that punch?
bro, an NBA player almost killed or killed. I don't know if Christopher knows this story. I've
Yeah,
heard this story before. Almost
I was
killed
gonna
someone
bring
with
it
a
up as
punch.
well.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was Bill Walton or something. He
I
punched
was. It was
someone.
one Rudy Tomjanovic. Guy got
Yeah,
punched by Kurt. What was his name? His name is like Kermit or Kurt something. Like, literally was. And the messed up thing about that story is that it was literally like a misunderstanding. I think there was a fight, and then
beside them.
the guy who got punched was actually trying to, break up the fight. Like, he
Hmm.
wasn't even trying to fight, but obviously you just see someone coming towards you and you just swing, and like it literally almost killed him. Like, I think I don't want to say it because like the description on Wiki is extremely graphic. Like, if you read that thing, like, I
Fair.
felt sick to my stomach about like what happened to him because of that punch. So I'm just like,
Yeah,
bruh, if I'm and I think Kareem even did, like, is it karate or kung fu or
yep.
Oh
something?
yeah, no, Karim is the wrong person. Like Karim was a
That's what I'm
martial
saying. So I'm
artist.
like, of all people to not do it to Kareem, like, bro, if he just catches you the wrong way, like, that's, lights out, man. Like, you just wake up and you just be seeing white
Yeah.
lights.
So Rami
So
settled with the guy in 1987, but he said he had no memory of the incident. But in
Fair.
2008, the guy was like, he admitted that he tried to, basically he wanted to take Ramesses' jersey off his back, which is insane. Like, can you imagine how drunk he was to think that was the thing that was possible? He wanted to take his jersey off him, like not he wanted to tear it off him. Oh my god! And then Kareem, yeah, somebody tried to like take his goggles. Just again, wow, how are these
Insane.
white men stupid like
Also,
this?
like, not even that. Like, how would he even reach Kareem? Like, Kareem's like seven
No, I
two or
just see he
something.
was he
Like,
was on somebody's shoulders now.
okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like, bruh, man, guys are
um,
insane to be honest.
Oh, also, yeah, just while talking about fact checking, Karim also told like, what's his name, Larry Bird, I'll fuck you up, you white boy.
Fair.
I mean, that's very on brand.
Okay, so should we just go into? Okay, let's go do some final stuff. Ebuka, Judy, or who are you in the episode?
Oh, I couldn't pick anything this episode. This episode was just too quick
Well,
for
the one
me.
time that
I feel
actually
like we
talking
talked.
down.
I feel like we talked about them.
He said it was too quick.
Are you one of the guys that wanted to take Ramesses' jersey?
You know, the only thing I even thought, the only time I thought about that, and I was like, okay, maybe, was like Jerry West not being able to watch and hoping against hope that it will finally happen.
Yeah, maybe he should have watched. Chris, did you have anyone?
Nah. I mean, I guess if I was forced to pick, maybe like I'm Larry Bird breaking the fourth wall.
We got him. That
Exactly.
was Trent in the Arsenal Liverpool game last season.
Yeah.
He looked at it. He looked at the
Oh,
camera.
that is literally perfect. That is,
That was the
I
first thing
can't
I thought
lie.
about. That was the first thing I thought
Yeah,
about when that scene happened. He looked at the camera. I was
that's
like,
perfect.
"We got
We got
them."
him.
So I am Jay Wells, who was the hockey player
Okay.
dating the boss to get ahead in your
To
career.
get a better salary. Fair.
But
To
we
know what
actually no,
other
okay,
people are
wait,
earning.
like would you actually do that in real life?
Here's the
I
thing.
can't. I can't lie. Like, in his situation, it's not so crazy because I'm not
Shit is
like,
not
it's not
so
like
crazy.
Jenny Boss is ugly. Like,
No, but still, like, yeah, no, but like, I'm saying,
Here's the thing.
ugly, fine, like, whatever. Like, would you, if you knew that there was material benefit to be gained by dating someone at your office?
Now this
ah,
is
you're
this is
at
this
the
is male privilege.
morals.
Yeah, this is male privilege. These are male privilege speaking. But I can tell
True.
you that the answer is yes. I'm very upfront about this. I will sleep to get ahead. This is not even like. But at the same time, if I knew a woman was doing it,
Oh my
I would not,
days.
I would not like have any problem with
Judge.
a woman
Yeah.
doing it. Yes, but obviously it's different from a man and a woman because women can do it and then there's lots of repercussions. But as a man, I have no problem as long as it's like, as long as I'm not being abused. Like we know what we're doing. We're
Yes,
all
like,
entering into this knowing everything. Like we know what is
but like,
happening.
okay, but
Then that's fine.
would you now fear that, okay, for example, let's say it's going well for like 6 months, like maybe you've gotten your dream promotion or whatever, but like, what if things now end badly? Like, that person still has the power. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hopefully I've gained some stuff. Like all relationships could end badly. Hopefully, like I've like
man, work is too dicey, man.
I mean, look, you don't do it. I think you don't do it to go from like analyst to senior analyst. Like you do it with a good result in mind. You do it when like you're aiming to be a director. You get what I'm trying to say? Like you do it, the result has to be worth the investment, essentially.
Juice has to be worth the squeeze.
Exactly. I mean, look,
Well,
perfectly said. So you wouldn't do it, Chris.
no, I'm saying like I think that there are just too many like there are too many things that could go wrong. Like, what if person plays you? Like, okay, what if after all you
Well, yeah,
like
but
okay,
also it's like mutually assured destruction. They're also in a bad situation.
as in wait, so you now go and snitch on them or what?
No, but like if they want to misbehave, then we also have our own dirt on them.
What's the debt on them though?
That they engage in a relationship with a what they call it, a
Yeah, that's what I'm
subordinate.
saying. So like, are you going to snitch?
I'm going to snitch if like they threaten me.
No,
Like
no,
you
no.
say,
Like, no, like they don't threaten you, but like they just don't uphold what you expected. Like maybe you don't get the promotion that you wanted.
okay, well, I didn't. Okay, no, no. Let's put this. I'm not going to be like, let's date, and I'll give a contract like let's date, and I don't have to put it like
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be
not.
like, oh, let's
It's
date,
not
and
a
you give me
contract. It's
this.
just like an expectation. Like it's just assume that okay, as we're doing this thing, it's going to help my career. Like I'm going to get a push. Well, I'm saying, what if after all that, like the person just cannot, or the person doesn't want to, or the person doesn't have
I'll,
the
I'll
power,
end it
whatever.
now. I'll end it.
Okay, that's okay. That's what I'm saying. So like after all that, you now ended it. It's like your time has been wasted.
Not necessarily. Maybe I got a good relationship out of it. Maybe like I
No,
don't know. I think this type of things like there's no
okay.
way that something will have to give. Like there will have to be some quid
Yes,
pro
now
quo.
okay. What if someone who you didn't like in that, like you didn't like that in the first place? Like you were just okay. This is something that is going to take me from point A to point B, and then after all the whatever, you now don't get to point B. So it's like you've
I
been
mean,
enduring
how
with
many
someone who
interviews do
gives.
we go for and we don't get the job? It does. You have to you hold the L and you keep on moving.
Oh, in that case, fair enough, man. But I just feel like I can't make that investment, man. And anything work is actually too dicey.
Okay, but what if it was like a situation where like it was going to happen? Like she came up and like she said it flat out. I like this is gonna happen,
I might even
or
be
she
afraid, guy.
fair, fair enough.
I'm-
So you okay? So your problem is fear, not morality.
no, it's not even like I mean morality like is one thing. Like I'm not going to judge anyone. I mean I know actually no correction. I don't think I think even if people know it's like I don't think you can ever lose that stigma. Like if people know that the only reason that you know that you got here is because like you were sleeping with so and so person. Like, I don't believe that that stigma never goes. As much as maybe they like they'll smile in your face, especially if you're high up, and people will always but behind your back they'll just be. I mean, I guess maybe
As a great man once said,
some people don't care.
the lion
You know,
doesn't concern himself with the opinion of sheep.
you can say yeah, sheep, man, but I think in long term those
Shout
things
out
but
Tyrene.
no, but like that specific scenario, right? Like, I like I said with the hockey player, it's just different to your everyday, work relationship or trying to
Mm-hmm.
sleep to get ahead because hockey players or like sports stars do dates other famous and rich people. So this is just helping his career a little bit, but
Like I don't think
still.
I also don't. I mean, obviously, none of us has been in a situation where, at least as far as I know, I'm in a situation where like this has happened. But so I don't think you go into a relationship with like explicitly like why anyone who's listening and not watching doesn't know what you just did. But anyway, I don't think you ever go into a relationship with explicitly like, oh, this is what's going to happen. We're going like I don't know, the flirting happens, relationship happens, and then small by small, the little bits of favors happen, right? It's not like you have a contract like, okay, you date me and I make you a senior partner, whatever. Like it just happens organically. I'm assuming is
no,
how it
no, if it's
happens.
purely organic, like oh, you meet the person, you genuinely like each other, like that's fine. Oh, I'm not saying that if it is not organic, like both of you know that this piece is only happening because I want to sleep with you and you want to get ahead, like that.
Well,
If
so
it's
what
like
you're
actually
describing is
But
organic,
yeah,
you know
Ebuka.
what's I I understand what Chris is saying, but I'm also
Uh-huh.
like I can't lie, I'm going to say something crazy, but I also feel like if that's one of my talents, then almost like I should be compensated for I'm like
Shout
that's
out,
what
shout out Drake. Your boy from Compton said
oh my
he's
days,
taking.
man.
No, but Chris, oh, this is taking way too long. I'm going in a direction I didn't even expect. But what you're even saying, I think the scenario you're even putting up is like way more ironclad than the organic. Because what you're saying is that it's a contract and everybody knows what's going on. In that case, she can't betray it because she's
No, no,
explicitly
no,
said
yeah,
what the terms of this
yeah,
contract are.
no, like that's what I'm saying. Like, what my point is not that I need it in right. All I'm just saying is that I'm more comfortable with an arrangement where like we genuinely like each other. Like, you just happen to be, up there, but
But
like
comfortable in what sense? Like again, morality or people caring or just
no,
the
it's just
fear of
everything. Like, I guess the morality
backfiring.
thing is not the paramount, but I'm just saying in general, like I would not be comfortable with that ironclad arrangement of we both know why we're in this. Like, it's only because you want to get from point A to point B, and I can help facilitate that. I'm saying that I'll be
Mhm.
less comfortable with that than me dating someone, but then like just like as like a byproduct of that, I now like start to ascend in my career. Like maybe it's because you help me because like you know someone who can help me or whatever, and or I get a promotion because I've started to work with you more closely or whatever. Like for me, that is something that like I could entertain, but I would not be comfortable where literally, oh, maybe you just see me and like you see you or whatever, and you just say, see, I like you. Like if you sleep with me, like I'll I'll take you to the top. Like for
But
me,
what if
I
it was
can't
low
lie. You
key?
have some strong morals,
it's
bro.
not
Like,
even moral.
what's
It's
the
just no. It's not even
CEO?
moral. I'm not saying
Like,
like for
my
me,
senior
like it,
manager could come tomorrow and I'll be like,
But you know, in that case,
CEO.
Chris, is that version is it means it's going to be low key. Does that change anything for you?
we
Like
as
it's
in like what like you mean low key aspect if
like if your
it's like
CEO
a
comes and
quid
says I
pro
like you,
quo.
like it won't be like a couple. You guys won't be a couple. It will be very low key. People might not know.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, but okay, but won't you be suspicious if all of a sudden, like I said, people are
Uh-huh.
not dumb
I
now.
say I'm
Like
good at
it's
my
very
job. Yeah, but you can't prove
so
it. All
good
you
with
can, all you,
what do you mean? Is like, are you so good that in the span of like let's say a year, you go from junior executive to like I
no, no.
don't know,
Again, all sort of things you need to be smart about it as HR. You can't
oh
just
you,
you can't just give you 3 promotions in 2 months, kind of situation. I don't know.
damn,
But again, like Ebuka said, if your talents deserve that kind
yeah,
of
say my
reward,
senior manager can
look,
come.
the actors and writers are striking right now because they think that their payment should match the quality of their work.
Exactly.
So if I
Oh
produce a
man,
hit series, I should get paid that justifies that. And
So if you want me, show me how much you want me, Mrs. CEO.
anyway, but obviously
CEO.
I mean, all of this goes down to male privilege. I mean, I think I'll 100% do it. Honestly, maybe okay, let me say 100%. I'll 95% do it. Um,
The 5% is because of how she looks, by the way. It's not because of any morals.
Oh
wow.
my, oh my.
I don't. Anyway,
This is actually funny
okay.
that no, like just a quick cap. This is also funnier because I'm literally watching Mad Men right now, as I've said before, and
Mhm.
literally was such like a common thing. Like two
Oh
people
yeah,
now, like they've married their
secretaries
secretary,
of yeah.
and,
Oh
and
god,
and I
Mad
think
Men.
one of them got like a promotion because she married him. So it's just like,
I mean, what you want the wife of the boss to still be a secretary? Come on, let's
oh
what
no
are we
no no
doing
no no
here?
no, but no, but that's what I'm saying. But like even in the show, like you could see like there was some tension that her colleagues
Yeah,
felt that like
yeah.
you're only here because you married like one of the
Hey,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no.
sorry. Sorry.
yeah, no, I think okay, see, everyone always says this, but like imposter syndrome is real. Like so I guess some people can actually literally not care. Like if you want to say I got here anyhow, fair enough. But I
Oh,
think
I
most
will be a
people
hater
are
if I was on the other side of it.
Oh,
yeah,
I
that's what I'm
will
100%.
saying.
have this
No, but I
conversation.
think most people are wired to care. Like even if at first maybe it
And I
doesn't
think I
get to
would
you,
care
but
as well, but like I would also
but
care
like
with a bigger bank account balance.
I'm not
Like
denying that. Like, obviously, there are benefits, but I'm just saying I think it eventually gets to people. Like, maybe it will end in you switching companies. Like, maybe you can now take your promotion and go to another company, but as opposed to dealing
you're
with
literally describing a euphoric situation. Like that's utopia. You've just explained like you've literally just explained why it should be done. Anyways, okay, but apparently yes. So Jay Wells and Jeannie did date, and Jeannie did tell him about other people's contracts because apparently it was against the rules at the time because of labor laws or whatever for everyone to know what people were earning. Okay, any let's just look. Okay, does anyone have an MVP of the season? It can be character, it can be performance.
mm, maybe
Oh, one thing we
performance.
didn't mention. One thing we didn't mention. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot Jack Nicholson appears in this show.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah, I
forgot
think he had
that.
2 appearances this episode, and he
Yeah.
appeared earlier in the season. Um, my MVP of the, I was thinking about this in a lot, and I kept trying to think of somebody else, but I do think performance might have been Jason Segel as Paul Westhead because I kept on thinking about his performance. I don't know if it's just like I don't know, like there's so many things that performance, and I keep on thinking about him like when the system started working, and him dancing in the club, and like him showing the girl that he has a wedding
Bro,
ring.
please,
I just like,
please.
and then because he at so many points, like we could all see the problem that was like the downfall that was coming him. But at the same time, he moved like he was the main character of the show. And we could have this argument of whether, yeah, he deserved it. And we also had the argument of, well, like maybe it was unfair. But like, I don't know. I feel like as a performance, he actually just did a really, really good job performance wise. Character, I don't really know. I would have been I'm very high on him, but I'd have been much higher on Brody and Pat Riley if we had more time in the like Pat Riley in Showtime era. Like as Ibuka mentioned last week, I feel like we didn't have enough Pat Riley in Showtime era. But again, obviously Adrian Brody, even this episode, like that whole sequence when he does the meltdown and then goes to give the speech, like we're like, oh yeah, this guy is an Oscar winner. So yeah, like no surprise here. Um, do you guys have any MVPs of the season? You don't have to have if you don't can't think of anything.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think. if his performance, I don't know if I'm probably recency bias. I'll say Larry Bird, how he acted in this episode was one of my
Actually, no, yeah,
favorites.
he might be a character for me because I didn't really care about
Yeah,
him in season one. Obviously, care about him because it's Larry Bird, but as in on the show, I didn't really.
yeah.
So in terms of character, he might be the MVP character for
But
me for
then
the season.
MVP, I think I might just go Riley just because he's like ascended to the top of the mountain, and
Mm,
you know,
fair.
like we've seen his struggle from the first season to like being beside Chikern to being the head coach of the Lakers.
Ebuka, do you have any?
Um, Acting performance, I'd say Devon Nixon. I'd
Mm,
say most surprising to me, at least how much I liked it. And there was one other one I was thinking about. No, I'll just keep it at Devon Nixon.
yeah.
I'd
Okay.
say it was
Okay.
him.
Also,
Well, really, this
shout
is
out
our
to Ray
longest
Allen
episode
because
by a mile. Because we spent way too long talking about the morals of dating your boss. Okay, I don't know. Let's just quickly do this. I was having a longer thing, but let's just quickly do. You guys have any like sports story franchise character that you would want like a show like this about? I can go first if you want. What you guys think? So my after season one, my original thing was like, oh, we could do obviously as an Arsenal fan, we could do Arsenal, Henry, and Wenger, like that period of them coming in. But then I was thinking about it, and I think the answer is actually Pep's Barca because you have Messi in like what I think Messi was having his third year, fourth year, just trying to enter the team. Pep's Barca, then you do the Mourinho's Madrid, Messi and Ronaldo, Magic and Bird. I think
Yeah.
that might be the actual answer in the thing. I mean, the other pockets, I think you have the Arsenal thing. You probably have if you could do the class of whatever they call themselves, the United guys, the Neville and people. Um, you could do Liverpool, but that would be a tragedy because they'll never win anything. Okay, they won the Champions League, whatever. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. So like I think my thing is actually Pep's Barca. It's actually probably the right pick.
Yeah, that
Quick
is that.
four seasons.
That
Sorry.
would be a good one to do. And you know what's funny? Because when I'm thinking now, I'm thinking what's one with like a good amount of controversy as well. And if it's not Pep's Barca versus Madrid, I would also want to do like the France 2002 or two. Actually, the French national team. Just
Just
roll the
every four
dice.
years, just
Yeah, just pick one of their World Cup campaigns and just do it.
every season will be a new World Cup. Like, oh, they won. Oh no. Oh, they won. Oh, trouble in the camps. Just like
Exactly. Exactly.
let's keep going up and
So
down.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think obviously the best Barca you could do Ronaldinho, Deco, this guy's leaving, then Mourinho comes in, Ronaldo comes to Madrid, all of that stuff. Yeah, there might be some cool stuff there. Chris, do you have anything?
no, I think that's probably the best one. The only other one I can think of is also Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. But
Yeah, I mean there have been rumors. We don't even going to get third season of this show, but there are rumors that like this show would go all the way to the Kobe and Shaq period. Obviously with
ah,
some big time jumps and
yeah,
everything.
I was
But
about to say, man,
this one that we're trying to even get to season three, I don't know. I don't know how likely that is. Um. Anyway, okay. It's like should we wrap up there?
oh, I mean, I was meant to bring some rom-com
I was actually going to ask. Yeah,
suggestions,
okay.
seeing as some people are doubting my
Some
credibility.
people are determined to
No, because
this character build. Okay, please, what rom coms? Just a
character
rom
is
com.
just funny,
Think like a man too. Why did I get
no,
married? Why did I get
because
married
I
to?
didn't even like the second thing like about. So it
Go
was
ahead. Give us the
yeah. So
recommendations.
first one, I mean, the Big Sick, like we spoke about
Mm-hmm.
prior to
Mm-hmm.
the post starting. I don't know, for some reason it seems like it's a bit underrated. Like I don't know, like maybe people know about it, and
True
it's just
story
always
as
like
well.
one of the ones that's like talked about when people are giving like their usual top rom coms or whatever. But I feel it's really good, and yeah, it's quite touching. This one's a bit more off the wall. This one is just good vibes. I think I love my wife, starring
Oh, that's one of the first.
Who's
I
that?
was I was too
that's
young the first
starring
time I watched that film.
Chris Rock, um
And
is it
Zoe
Gia
Saldana?
Oh,
Torres,
I know. Okay, I know it.
No, it's Gia Torres,
I
yeah,
know
not
it. I
Zoe
know it. Yeah,
Saldana.
bro.
yeah.
And then also there's also like a Kerry Washington. She's quite good in
No,
that movie too. So that's a
yeah,
very like it's quite funny. Like it's not like the story is not amazing or anything, but just like seeing that medley of characters and it's pretty funny. So that's second one. Third one, I'm just gonna give a classic because it's one I enjoy. Um, actually, do I give a classic? Because I'm sure you guys have something to say about.
Say what you want to say.
No, as in like that's the thing. I'm like trying to think. Do I just? stick with one of the ones that people are going to know, or do I
No, why would
pick
you
one?
recommend someone? Recommend one that people don't know now. No, not what
That's what I'm
people will
saying.
know.
Yeah. I mean, what people might know. Well,
Or you can
actually, no,
recommend anyone that's on your head, both of them. If
no. I'll just stick with one that's normal. What's it called? How to lose a guy in 10 days. So
no, you can't
I'll
know.
stick.
You can't
What?
recommend that because
Why?
Ebuka literally said that
What?
last episode. No, he just said that last
Okay,
episode.
fine.
Like
Okay,
just good
okay.
different word.
No,
Like
I mean, I guess it's because it's one that's it's pretty good. Hmm, the holiday, the holiday. I'll
oh wow,
yeah.
that's the
That's
Jack Black one, right?
that Jack Black. That's Cameron. It's not Cameron Diaz and
Yeah, it's not Cameron Diaz, Jack Black,
maybe yeah, but yeah, that's one I try and watch every year
Kate
along with
Winslet. I
like
think is in it
Oh,
as well. Oh wow,
yeah. I think it's still on Netflix, so if
I
you
didn't
have
think you were going to come
Netflix,
with a white because your first two were black people. So
so
no, I'm just surprised. Oh.
Banky. Oh,
It's not. I don't understand. I'm just stating a fact. Not like
no,
it's
but
not like
like,
you just
wait, but like, why
yeah,
are you
Jack Black,
surprised?
Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, and Jude Law. Yeah, I was
Oh
right.
no, but like, what, like, why are you surprised? Like, what is the
No,
thread
because you were
there?
just
Like,
going two black people and then you finished the white person. That's fine. Okay. I'm sorry. What was I saying?
Banky, I
Let's wrap up there. Is that okay? Is there anything that you guys want to just confirm in the fact checking? Because there's no point to going through everything. Is there anything that you want to have a question about, and I can see if I fact checked it. Even though it
nah,
seems
I
like this
think
episode
we already
everything was just
mentioned.
correct.
Yeah.
so the thing is, like,
Um,
this episode was so good, and for some reason, I kind of already assume that most of it, if not all of it,
yeah.
is real life accurate,
So something that was
down
thrown
to
away.
the
So
letter.
Linda, who works in the office with Jeannie, and she's like,
Yes.
Kurt wants her in the stands. She's going to be with the Rambis youth. So they did date,
Rabisky.
and they've been married ever since
Oh,
1985. So Linda and
that's
Linda and
nice.
Kurt,
See,
Kurt
a
got
lot of
married.
people date at work, man.
I never said that they don't, man. Like, let's be. I'm not against dating at work. Oh. Let's.
Okay. Any other?
I don't
Any
want to be
anything? Anything you want
misrepresented.
to confirm, Chris? Anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think everything's kind of factual. Okay. Chris, thank you very much for this 7 episodes. Thank you for doing the show with us. Ebuka, do I have to thank you? I don't think so. Um, you can
I
listen to
get paid.
Ebuka.
I get paid for my time.
Yeah, you do. Um, get paid in more work. You can listen to Ebuka on the Top Boy episode and maybe on the Continental. We'll need to figure that out how that's going to work out. But yeah, please share this episode with anyone you know watches Winning Time. Please tell people to watch Winning Time. I'm sure these ratings will still go some way into them renewing it. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for staying with us throughout this run, 7 weeks. And yeah, Chris, any final thoughts? Ebuka, any final thoughts?
We want more winning time, man. We cannot end this show on the shot of magic in the
It's actually a
shower.
very sad, very, very sad way to end
Yeah,
the show.
Oh yeah.
we
But
can't.
yeah, on that note, thank you very much. And join us next week when we'll be talking about some show or the other, joined by the incredible Oscar winner, Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.